Warehouse 15 in the house. If we hurt your feelings, sorry, not sorry, brah. 6-7 day baby.
Not we the people! I am the people! Me, not we!
Welcome back. This is the Warehouse 15. We have all been pretty far from home. I went to Portugal, not Portugal the man, but Portugal the country, with my son for some soccer. As you know, I love to travel around with him. Great food, great people, and an abrigato, cortado, and pastel de nata. And just delicious food, delicious people, and really good. And then I know Coach Moreno has been very, very far from home, and TJ got his bracelet off, so he was able to travel to Oklahoma. But welcome, everybody. How we doing? Oklahoma, baby. Oklahoma. I got a great clip for that later. But go ahead. What do we got?
Yeah, I just got back from Peru. It was great to be there. I was doing some seminars and some coaching programs. It was really fun. Like you, had some good food, made some great people. But always good to be back home in the freezing cold of Miami. It was 38 today in the morning, and it felt like 29. Crazy.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
He sent me pictures with Parker's on.
Bro, I was freezing. Crazy. But
anyway. It was pretty cold in Tulsa too. I was there for the U.S. team trials. Maybe next episode we'll get back to that a little bit hectic of a weekend. Fast weekend, but hectic weekend. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of whatever. But anyways, you wanna go ahead and start first or
start? But I don't know how people find us. They find us somehow, and when they find us, they share with us these amazing things, which I've never seen before. And so I've been to Oklahoma a lot. As you know, I was sponsored by Century Martial Arts, and Coach Moreno's been there. I don't know if you've ever been there, but you should have been, considering your record. But I just got this from, it's unbelievable. It has a clip of you in Oklahoma last week. So let me share this for a second, because I have never seen this before.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. He was a great actor.
He's the best.
I liked him a lot. Oh my God.
No, this isn't your mother. That mother? No. But I have wonderful news. Miss Trumbull and I are going to be married. And we are going to live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
You'll enjoy Oklahoma's wide open spaces.
I had no idea, but I mean, I don't know how they got there. But anyway, welcome back, everybody. I know we got a lot going on, but let's get started. So I understand we got a lot to talk about today, but we got this one particular thing. And TJ, you want to share something with us?
Yeah, no, I think since we started this podcast, we've been kind of put our facts and our opinions about the sport as a whole, and there's been this kind of bigger backlash from it very recently with all the AAU stuff, leading over to the USAT with all the MOU stuff being signed, and it changed fast for me. That whole groundwork changed pretty fast. Being kind of in a good spot with AAU and doing a lot of good things with them, being put in a lot of good positions to. MOU being signed and the texture of that conversation changed pretty quickly. And I thought this time was one of those times that I was able to, be able to hold it and force myself to do something that I'm not used to doing, force myself to kind of think outside, I guess not the box, but just to make sure that I'm not crazy and I'm not the only one that understands how this game is being played and how it's being propositioned against the people they wanted to be propositioned against. So
I want to cut in, for a second, because I think there's been, listen, we started this podcast over a year ago. We've had a lot of fun with it. We've had some great, we've had some guests on. We've had an overwhelmingly positive response. People telling us from left and right how we're saying what everybody thinks, blah, blah, blah. We use our professional opinions. We have a good time. And recently this nonsense has gotten a little bit out of control. And there's been some people trying to change the narrative with, little, interesting timed, press releases with, website, martial art companies and stuff like that. And, for some of those people that think that this stuff isn't real, I think you're about to get some information. And for some of you people that thought it was real, you're going to get some validation. So it it's time to
And
to
hopefully
go.
a whole lot of awareness and understanding and kind of seeing it from the other side. So
There's going to be some connected dots for sure. So
So we're gonna play an audio clip, and are we gonna talk about it before, or are we just gonna play it? Do you want to
we'll
set it
just
up, or you
play
just
it.
want? We're gonna share with you an audio clip that was recorded as a conversation, the interview, and it was a
but
conversation between a couple of people, and I'll let it play, and then we'll talk about it after you. But it should help for those of you curious about where we are, why we are, what we're finding ourselves in front of. This should clarify some of the challenges that you've had understanding it. Is that enough of a
do we
setup, gentlemen?
do we need to say who it is, or we'll talk about it afterwards?
I mean, it's up
Talk
to
about it
you.
afterwards.
We can
Okay.
talk about it afterwards. It's just a thing, you know. We'll share it, and they can
Let's go.
take what they want from it. So here is a actual conversation. One of the participants is TJ Jennings, Olympian and current coach and world-class cap coach and all that stuff. But more importantly, the most important thing in his life, he's a good friend of ours. We go way back, and we formed the Triumphant, the three possible gold medal, silver, and bronze medal in an Olympic Games, bring the most experience and record to the sport. And so with that said, I'm going to share this, and let me start it from the beginning. Are we ready? Here we go.
Work with you. It's a mess, bro. It's a mess. It sucks, but this is what is being presented, and this is the only way.
But
that I
work with,
can
okay, so
handle it.
let's say, I understand what you're saying. I just don't understand. Let's say that is what's being, it's a trade-off. I got you. It's a trade-off. If you guys, if you guys work with me, then they're going to work with Bobby and whoever else you just said.
Ryan and all the and Jaya.
Right. But like, let's say they work with them and you work, like, how does this affect I'm missing the point of, again, still, what's the grand plan? Like, you don't work with them, they don't work with me, or you guys don't work with me, they don't work with them, or they do or they don't. Like, how does that affect both organizations if there's, again, I thought the MOU was going to say.
You're a huge part. You know what I mean? You're a huge part. Like, what with the goals that AAU want as a district chair, as a regional chair, as a part of the Olympic sparring program, all that stuff like that. It would suck not to be able to work with you. That would suck. It would hurt AAU. It would hurt AAU drastically, but they're willing to do that. They're willing to do that. I literally have to be prepared to call other people to offer them this position.
I understand, and I got it. Sounds great. But like, I guess I'm still missing the point. Like, moving forward, past this MOU, past this. Okay, they work. If they work with these guys, you work with me. Like, where's the building point that it fucking matters? I'm missing where it matters.
Where it matters to.
Like, I understand you're telling me I have value to the organization. I get all that. Like, I'm not arguing that. I'm sure maybe they have value, and maybe those other guys have value to USAT. I got it. Whatever the fuck you want to say.
I guess.
I don't know, but that's my point. You guys are you guys want me to work. You guys want me to work with you at AAU. I told you from the beginning. I think the platform with AAU and the ability of things that can happen and how it can be organized is amazing. I think the opportunity is great. But again, like I said, you guys agree that I'm a good fit for the organization and all these things like this. And I can, we've been talking a lot. But like, and I guess the point would have to be on the other side. They have to have the same reasoning behind wanting Bobby and
Ryan and all them.
right. They have something they're offering them, or like they can help the organization. Blah 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 blah.
They're offering them a lot of bullshit, but I don't think they can deliver on it. And so this is how it is. Steve said, I said, hey, we want TJ involved, and he said, okay. Well, that only happens if the podcast.
But involved in, I guess that's my point. AAU wants me involved, and Steve says only if the podcast stops. What does Steve have to do with AAU? I'm missing that part of the MOU.
Then the MOU is broken, because if we put you in a leadership position and you're talking bad about the other organization,
I know it's broken, but what does the MOU hold in place? Like, the MOU basically says these guys won't talk shit, this guy won't talk shit, because we are building together to do what? Like, I don't understand how, like, even if these guys get in, because even these guys get in on that side and they don't talk shit. Like, first of all, I have not heard anything from any of them about talking shit. Like, that's the thing. I've heard a lot of things, but like, I think it's irrelevant on that side. I don't really think anybody, like, I haven't heard it. Me personally, I haven't heard it. That's one. For two, obviously, they've heard me talk shit because I do it live on a fucking podcast. Got it. Most people have. But, like, I'm missing how, whether they talk shit or I talk shit or they work with me or they work with those guys and they stop talking, you guys work with me and I stop talking, how is that beneficial other than nobody's talking shit to the two organizations that have no, other than not putting the tournaments on the same dates and all the stuff you guys told me about? Like, what part am I missing that there's some mutual benefit and or a stronger benefit for AAU than it is for USAT? Like, I'm missing something.
So, unfortunately, it's this simple. Mirza will do anything to make it to where those guys don't work with USAT. That's just how it is. It's that.
So this has nothing to do with actually anything other than
blocking people,
blocking and who's not this and who's not that. So these guys say this and these guys say, Mirza says, I don't want to work with you. I don't want these guys to have work anywhere. They're bad people. So I'm going to talk to USAT and USAT. Well, we won't work with them if you guys don't work with TJ. Basically.
No. So your name's fine. Not that. We won't work with them as long as you don't work with anybody that publicly speaks bad about us, which AKA is you. So I said, well, that's not fair. I get an opportunity to talk to TJ first. And so they said they granted that. And so I stuck my neck out and said, hey, and then I told you what it is. But there's things in talks of like working together in regards to things. We won't host a tournament together because nobody cares about. Mirza doesn't want to work with Safe Sport. We won't have the tournament on the same week and all that stuff like that. They want to do something along the lines where if AAU team members have the opportunity to possibly get a wild card to their team trials and possibly go train at the academy and stuff like that. But that is like far down the line. We got to get this one done.
No, I understand.
If anything happens.
I just was assuming this was something stopping a bunch of other plans that were in place. This is just like so let's say I'm fine. They don't care about me, but in saying that these USAT won't work with those guys, this is the trade-off that whoever you guys work with can't publicly talk shit.
Correct. But it's the most professional way that they could just say your name.
Yeah, of course.
Saying your name.
Of course,
yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, if you brought up my name and said you want to work with me and that's what you got back, it has to be about me.
Yep. Correct. So it's just some high school bullshit. You can't sit with them if we sit with them. And that's just how it is. Like, it's petty bullshit. It's wrong. I think it's really wrong because I also have relationships with Ryan and Bobby and all that stuff like that. But I have my own recent opinions about them. But those are irrelevant. My thing is, if I can help you, and because look, here's my thing. You're going to be fine no matter what. You've always worked hard. You've always been an underdog. You've always found a way to be out on top. And you're going to be fine no matter what. This is the part to where you just maybe can catch a break and just make some fucking money, do some stuff, be a part of this, because I don't know what happens after this. Like, it's simple. Like, if you keep doing the podcast, like, you won't, it sucks, but we can't invite you on AAU trips. We can't have you involved in the Olympic program.
But someone going, I thought it was someone within a leadership position.
That is leadership, because what we're happening with is that is considered leadership, I guess, in their eyes.
So an elite coach is considered leadership?
Not an elite coach. But you're not an elite coach.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, obviously, if you go in any capacity, not being a region, not talking about the regionals, not talking about the district, I'm talking about going on a trip because I have 5 guys on the team.
It. Yes, anyone that represents AU. And the main thing is that I've been trying to say is that, like, Clinton thinks very highly of you as well. Like, he goes, Alex, like, if we can get tops brought back up in Olympic sparring program and special team and all that stuff like that, TJ is the guy. TJ is the top coach in the country at this time, and he has a lot of value. And I go, guys, stop. Who gives a shit? He's just a good dude. We want good people around us that actually care about the athletes and Taekwondo. He does it for the right reasons. And he's just like, well, if you can get him to stop, then that'd be great. And I go, he's grown-ass man. He's going to do what he wants. But it is as simple as that. I can't, it's weird. It sucks. It's not fun. It puts me in a really super awkward position because at the end of the day, like, I talked to Juan. Juan and I have become, like, close. And I trust him, and he trusts me, and I believe he has my best interest. I can't save him. I can't. There's nothing I can do. And, like, it's Mirza's world in AAU. It's Steve McNally's world in USAT. And I'm just going to find a way to get mine and protect those that I can and create opportunities that I can until I get a platform strong enough to where I can say I don't need either organization and I can just do my own thing. But at that time right now, that's hard. That's real hard. So that's where it's at. Like, if you think that, hey, it's too messy, I can't do this, I'm not gonna fault you. Or if you're like, you know what, like, all right, let's just make some fucking money and figure it out as we go along, then cool, I'm down. Like, but it's a shitty situation, bro. I know it's gonna make you feel like Juan's like a dad to you, you know. So like bailing on a podcast and it's gonna suck and it's gonna feel weird and it's gonna feel like USAT won or anything like that, or they found a way to shut you up kind of thing. But this is what's been presented to me, and unfortunately I'm the messenger that's got to present it to you.
Right. And then that's before we even talk about all the messy stuff with the regionals and the districts and dealing with Abdul.
Well, that's going to be easy. We just can't do it right now. Like, you're going to get to run a tournament. I will make sure that tournament's awesome. We will make it the biggest fucking coolest event of all time. Then you will run against Abdul. You will win. Then you will be regional director. And then we're done. Then we're all good. 2027 is the best year possible. You get to run 2 tournaments. You're probably a part of the Olympic sparring program. We start having you run like Olympic sparring seminars for AAU where you also make money and stuff like that. It sucks because it just seems like, TJ, I don't want you to think that I think of you this way. I see value to you as an individual. I enjoy conversating with you. But in the retrospect, it just comes off like you're just some object. Like some object that, oh, hey, we can use him for this, and this. And it sucks because here's my thing. You can also just go do your own Olympic sparring seminars without AAU's backing. That's fine too. I'm sure those will do just fine as well. But AAU could just make it a little bit easier, you know? I don't know.
I guess I wish, I mean, obviously I got to think about everything, but I guess I wish there was enough value being seen in me not to use me as a quote unquote, I mean, not object, but like if you guys knew, and I'm talking to you, if you guys knew how deep the issue with USAT ran, it wouldn't be such a simple trade-off. You would see the value in me and you would allow me to work within your organization and say fuck Ryan and fuck this guy and fuck that other guy too, because I mean I told you.
I said Mirza, there's no way that Ryan and Bobby can outdo me. There's no way. I go, let them have those guys. Let's go to war and fuck USAT. Like, I work better with a chip on my shoulder anyways. I go, let me prove, and there's like, it's just better to have a mutual understanding at this time right now. And I was just like, okay.
But they're still gonna like them signing this and you guys signing it, they're still gonna get those guys. And then I'm being honest with you, at that point you lose your sword. Like at this point I'm a fucking sword. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
Like and I'm not giving myself any credit like a good thing. It's just I say what the fuck I want to say. I speak the fucking truth, and like you always agree. 99.9% of people agree with what I'm saying.
Yep, 100%.
And they're the reason we're in the developmental situation that we have going on in America is because of them. If they weren't, it's not. And you know when you say not use names and say bad things, listen, it's not Steve, it's not Steven, it's not Garrett, it's not Paul, it's not whoever, it's Sherman, it's none of them. It's not their names. It's the fact that they accepted jobs that are supposed to provide opportunities and do things for the organization as a whole and not just for a room. Those are what those jobs mean. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. If Steve left tomorrow and someone else went in and they were doing the same exact shit, guess what? They would get the same thing. And I would stop talking. It's not about Steve. He just happens to be the person who occupies that position. That's what it is, no?
You're spot on. You're spot on. But I do think that USAT won't break this MOU. I don't think that they're going to work with Ryan. I really don't think that's happening.
Unless, no, I'm saying they're going to work. Let's say I say, nah, this is good and blah, 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 this, and you go get someone else. You're going to tell me they because I'm not there, there's somebody else that they're going to work with those guys then. Oh, they're not going to work with those guys.
I'll tell you who it is. If you say, hey, I'm sticking with the podcast, I appreciate it. No hard feelings. It'll be Bernard Posey. That'll be the next person that gets offered the North Carolina spot. Right.
My point is, I understand. I think you told me that before. My point is, again, why does that? What does that change?
In my opinion, nothing. It just changes the pockets. I can't help you make money. I can't help you run tournaments. I can't have you on the Olympic sparring staff. I can't do it. And I have a close relationship with you than I do Bernard. And don't get me wrong, I got nothing against Bernard, but I think you're a better option and better fit for it all. But it's just it sucks, man. This sucks. This is some super gay shit that I'm dealing with and hearing about. And then I feel bad because I'm part of this in regards to blocking Ryan from working with USAT. And if that's really what he wants to do, then let him do it. But
in return, I need you to stop for a second. In return, you realize USAT is once again blocking me from working with the organization. However it started is irrelevant. Whether it was this idea or this person's idea, in return, me saying, nah, I'm not going to do this, blocks me from working with another organization.
Correct.
That has nothing to do with that organization. That has nothing to do with I've done something wrong in AAU that I deserve to be punished, or I am being reprimanded for something. So I pay my membership. I support the tournaments. I am respectful as much as I can at events. I accept team positions. I show up on time. I do my job. I leave.
You're right. So you understand it, though. Yes, this is USAT trying to either shut you up or block you from working with AAU. In return, they have the people that Mirza doesn't like not working with them. That is as simple as it gets. So you understand what it's at is that, hey, you're either off the podcast and AAU is going to put their arms around you and you're going to continue to do everything great with that for that. Or you continue the podcast and both organizations are going to turn on you. Not turn on you, but you'll be...
I become completely blackballed, basically.
Which is bullshit.
In a nutshell, that's what we're saying.
You can still be members. You can still be this. You can still have athletes on team and all that stuff like that and do things. But you won't ever be able to grow or make money through either organization. Which is bullshit. Mirza hates those guys that much to where he's willing to do this. Or is threatened by them that much.
And my value just can't be my value.
No, your value's to me.
No, I know, but I'm saying, again, I've tried to work with USAT within their system the way they want, how they want.
They ain't gonna work with you, dude.
I know. But I'm aware. I've been called the enemy to my face. Steve McNally called me the enemy.
But, and this is my opinion, and I could be dead ass wrong. I believe that there's a glimmer of hope that they could eventually start working with you if we build you up at AAU and all that stuff like that. You don't need any building up, but you get what I mean. We have you here. You've shown that you're not talking bad about the organization publicly. You're now doing this with AAU. You're doing some cool things. They might say, okay, let's get TJ involved. Because you know it's going to be probably Clayton that this new person is.
What's that? Talking about the coaching thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that.
Which is wild.
It's wild. It's the wildest thing I've ever heard.
So here's my thing. TJ, this is between you and me. I got 2 girls. I got family. I'm not selling out, but my tournament makes me $100,000.
Yeah.
I'm, you know what I mean? The position at AAU, I gotta do what's best for me at 34 years old. I gotta do that. So that's my thing. So I would love for you to be that, because that way I have somebody that I can talk to like this. I can't talk to Clinton like this. Me and Clinton are working relationship, but me and him aren't going to be friends after this. We just work together, you know? But he thinks highly of you as well. He does want this to go well with USAT though. And Mirza and him are very close. And they take my opinion. And my opinion was, fuck USAT. Let's go to war. Man, we got an army. Let's double down. You know, like instead of saying, okay, hey, Juan would just be like, I'll be like, hey, Juan would be like, all right, let's fucking go. He hates those guys too. And then we have everybody. But they would rather have peace right now. So my goal is to try and get it to where at least you can still be a part of all my plans and what I want to do and what I want to see the organization grow to. But I get it, man. It's gross. But here's how I feel. I know it's integrity and all that stuff like that and just doing the right thing, but we're not in a position to really change these minds of these people. But we definitely will never, ever get to change their minds if we just aren't even involved in the conversations. Right now I'm involved. I get at least a say in the conversations. I got to see the MOU. I got to share it with you. I can do all that stuff like that. So it's just shitty. It's just like, hey, you want to run a tournament for AAU, you want to work for AAU, you want to do all this stuff like that, then you just got to stop the podcast, which is bullshit. Because I know exactly how this feels. Because don't forget, Toby Oliver and I had a podcast way before pretty much anybody else. Mm-hmm. And it got shut down because Bobby and Ryan bitched about it because Toby started talking shit about AAU. So this conversation isn't new to me. People suck, man, but until we get our chance to be the ones that get to pull the shots, I just got to figure out a way to get there.
Yeah, I guess I was just under the impression the MOU was something, again, totally fucking different. Like, yeah, I thought we were talking about like how we're working together and all this stuff like that. That literally just basically says, just so I'm like clear, I'm just like, that shit says that USAT won't work with those guys. That's the MOU that's been signed. They won't work with those guys as long as AU doesn't work with anybody that talks bad about USAT, i.e. me, i.e. the podcast.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with right now.
We're 100% dealing with the fact that, and well, here's the thing. If I wouldn't have said, hey, I want TJ as this, and this, there probably would have not even been an MOU. They probably would have, but the fact that I brought you up, because I said, they asked me when I all sat down, who are the main leaders of AAU? And I went down each department. And when Olympic sparring came up, I brought your name up first, and then I brought up district chairs and regional chairs, and in hopes that I brought your name up then. So then after I had discussed every leader that I felt was in AAU, they brought you up, they brought Oi Lee up, they brought anyone, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit with you, anybody that was affiliated with Peak. So, and then I just said, look, Oi's going to be fine. And I go, he doesn't even say anything. He's too busy for us. I go, and then I said, TJ, I mean, you guys slighted him. He deserves to be a part of this. And I think what this main thing is this attack on Juan. That's my personal view. But if I said, and they go, if you want TJ to be in leadership, then he has to stop the podcast. And I said, and then Steve McNally was like, sure. He's like, he won't listen. He will not. I've tried conversations with him. I've talked to him, and he's not going to budge. And I just said, whoa, like, let me at least give him an opportunity to speak for himself. He's not even on this phone call. Because I even said, I can fucking call him right now, and he can get on this call. And then I got a text message from Clint like, hey, so yeah. So it just sucks, man. But you know what's on the table. Whatever you want, I'll support. It won't change anything. Won't change any relationship that you and I have.
I understand, man. It's just crazy because, like, I know we like that part about the district and the regional, but this drains down into saying that anyone that talks bad about the organization can't be a part of the organization. Like when you come to leadership, we're talking about teams and any other selections based off this MOU.
Correct. It's everything. And the same way with USAT. Like, it's pretty much burying people that speak poorly publicly about anything. And it's they're I don't know why we want to work with the USAT that bad, because I don't think we need to, but Mirza and Clinton think it's a good idea, so I'm outvoted.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Hey, pray on it, man.
Yeah.
Pray on it. Whatever you decide, talk it over with your wife, explain the situations, and just... I know your gut's going to tell you one thing, your heart's going to tell you another thing, your pocket's going to tell you another thing, but, I mean, 5 years from now, whatever you... This sucks, because this is a decision that can affect those.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need to just keep talking with me about it, and we just talk to it until we weigh out the pros and cons, I'm available later tonight, man.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, bro. Hey, hang in there. Bye.
Wow. So there's a lot to unpack there. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I hear a little back. Can hear myself. So, what do you guys think?
That was tough for me. I'm like I said, I've never done anything like this in my life. But at some point, you get tired of, again, being told that you're the right person for the job, being told that you do it for the right reasons, being told that this is simply just a ploy to make you be quiet. This is thing done by the same people that you've told people, and you've talked to the USOC about, and you've talked to other organizations about. These are the people and the reasons why. And you become the crazy person at some point. You become the one thing I don't like being called is a crybaby. We didn't grow up as crybabies. You just figured it out. You fought through the system. You did what you had to do. But this system's rigged. This situation's rigged, and it's been rigged for a long, long time.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. There's so much to unpack there. I mean, I think the overwhelmingly thing that kind of stares out to me was that Alex believed that there was value in you, and so did Clinton, because they talked to you and they wanted you. And after one meeting, it was like, dude, you got an ultimatum. Either you get off the podcast, but he even said something, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and listen to it. Anybody that talks badly. So even if you did the podcast and you just shut up, if that subject ever came up, and let's say Grandmaster Perez and I were talking about it, you would still be guilty by association. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy that you couldn't even do that.
And even more so, like I said, I think when that originally was brought to my attention, I think you heard I was a little confused for about 10 minutes of the first part, because I wasn't sure how it was all connected. But anyways, when we started talking about what was considered a leadership position, that was a little tough for me, because we're talking about something that's offered to pretty much any coach who puts someone on the national team, who they have some kind of value or coaching background, and all that stuff like that. And that's simply how those situations are selected. We did that. We did a podcast before the AAU trials, and I remember talking to you about it. I was like, I had 3 people on the national team at that time, and it could have been, I wasn't expecting a call. It could have been no call, some call, because I know they operate a little bit differently. But to say you won't be allowed to even do that if you have any outside opinions of an organization that's not even theirs.
I mean, man, like I said, there's
Well,
so much
USA Taekwondo has a long history of this. So let me share a little fact with everyone. Back in 1993, there was a World Championships in Madison Square Garden, and I found out as an executive board member that they were going to raid the piggy bank for $500,000 to support the local organizing committee. And I actually liked the guy, I won't mention his name, who was running the event under the direction of another person who was bad, and he forced the guy to put up all this money. and probably the guy had the money or didn't have the money, but it doesn't matter. They tried to give him $500,000 out of the USAT's money, out of our money, our sports money. I found out about it from the attorney. His name is Michael Turner, now House of Representative Michael Turner, who back then clued me in on it. And now he's on once in a while on Face the Nation, which is funny to hear him talk about ethics. He said, listen, go to the bank, tell them you're an executive committee member, and ask them for the corporate authority that they had to do this, and tell them they don't have the corporate seal. So I call the bank and I say this. And so, of course, these guys go to the bank, try to get the money. They can't get the money. I then became, after being an Olympic champion a few months earlier, and USA team coach and manager for the Madison Square Garden event where I have 3 athletes on the team, all of a sudden they manufacture some nonsense and try to extricate me and eradicate me as an athlete. They woefully underestimated who I was. I was taken into a room, I won't mention the name of the person, in the hotel across from Madison Square Garden, and the following words were uttered. But you control 20% of the athletes and the vote, but I control more than 70%. We should work together. And I said, I'm going to ethically do what's right. As a result of that, they tried to have me removed from the sport. I fought them and won. And it's been many years since that organization is gone. And with that said, they had to write me a very large check, reinstate me, and I currently am a lifetime member of the organization. But that's their general tactic. This is how they do business behind. And everything I said to you is a matter of record, course, and law. And the signed agreement was signed by an attorney in Ohio, actually not from Michigan, Lloyd. Can't remember his last name, but he was Hua Chung's attorney, and negotiated also with Michael Turner, who was a Dayton attorney. But enough about me. So the organization is no stranger to this kind of subterfuge and bad politic and behind the door dealing. With that said, let's get back to the audio.
I mean, I think we could probably go minute by minute, and I'm gonna go through a couple things that I saw early or heard early on. I wrote these notes as we were listening to that. Basically, like I said, AAU wants, you're part of the plans, TJ, you're part of the huge plans, until Steve says, you got to stop the podcast, basically, I think he said this is basically about blocking people, specifically you. It's the most professional way to do this without saying your name.
No, the most professional way to say your name without saying it, basically.
Yeah. Says doesn't believe in it, but maybe you can catch a break and make some money, as if you're supposed to just forget about your ethics and what you believe is right and just make some money. You won't get any more invitations. He says, I thought it was funny when he says he can't save Juan. Like, I don't know where I came up in this conversation. This is about what you're going to do or what you're not going to do. And then he can't save me. It's Merz's world. It's
the fact
Steve's.
That in his brain he was saving me is wild. Like, or attempting to save me is the most wildest thing ever. It just none of it makes any sense. And it, like I said, to throw your name in there, I can't save him. As if, like, again, if you listen, and I didn't hear it till this time, and I've listened to it a few times, when he was like, you all can still be members. Now, remember, we're only talking about me. And when he says, he's like, you all can still be members. Like, and then what happens a few days after all this stuff, we get suspended, right?
Yeah.
You all can be members. So it's always about you. It was always about Peak. It was always about me. It's been that way.
That's what he said. Like he said, once again, you said, once again, this is USAT blocking me from something. So from a whole nother organization, like it's crazy. And he says, you'll be blackballed, right? He said, you'll be blackballed, not blackballed because you'll still be able to have a member, be a member. I thought it was funny how he said, if AAU could build you up, but he said, not build you up, but, let you run some tournaments, do this. Maybe USAT will work with you. I'm like, I guess AAU is going to rehabilitate your image for USAT.
How about both organizations will turn on you?
That's what I said. Yeah. Like you have no
chance
chance
to. They will turn on you. Like, what?
As if one hasn't already. What do you say? Oh, if he didn't mention your name specifically, there probably would have been no MOU. It would have been just kind of a shake hands. And then he said, what did he say? no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This applied to you, Oi. Oh, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Anybody involved with Peak. Like, again, what does that have to do with anything? That's crazy. Like, it's just,
And he has to defend Coach Lee by saying he's not going to say anything. He's too busy for this shit. Like, what?
yeah.
Like,
Or
that,
even,
like, I don't know.
even at the end when he's like, I'm going to do something, and then he gets a text message and he gets shh by Clinton. Like, it's just the collusion of the two groups, and in some ways I feel bad for Alex because I think he was the messenger, but
Who is
But-
Alex?
For sure.
Who is
Alex,
Alex?
this is the guy who was on the phone.
Oh,
I feel
Alex
bad for-
Covert.
Yes,
Yeah.
but I feel bad for Alex because I think he's the messenger. And many times he said, TJ, I show you value. I like you. I like Juan, blah, blah, blah. And I like him. But he's acting as the chairman of AAU. He was
His
in the meeting.
choice. Yeah.
He was
his
in the meeting.
choice.
He was talking with Mirza. He was talking with Clinton. All this is his, apparently,
Talking with
his first-
Steve.
talking with Steve firsthand. And now he's acting as the chair talking to you. So when he's saying all this stuff, it's legit. This is not
It's no speculation.
right. There's no speculation. I've got a lot of opinions that we've expressed on this podcast. This is from the horse's mouth. This is the Mirza not wanting someone to work with USAT, and USAT not wanting someone to work with AAU, and them agreeing that this is the way it's going to be done. Like, Mirza doesn't know anything about USAT. I was at a meeting where he specifically said he wants to go to war with the NGBs. I was at a meeting with an entire table. He had no desire to do anything with NGBs. I was like, okay.
He does understand that he can go to war with an NGB, but it's a losing proposition for
Yeah.
him because he already lost. He was part of the karate group, Mirza, Therius, whatever his name is, out of whatever. The three of them were vying back in the day to become the national organization NGB for the organization, and they couldn't. And he actually didn't win that one, but they were the most insular, corrupt, and self-killing group. And that's where they differed from Taekwondo. They couldn't put their hands together, the three of them, to make a fist, whereas Taekwondo got all the different people too. But yeah, he was a clown back then.
But my point is, until Clinton sets up this meeting, or I don't know who, somebody sets up this meeting. I'm assuming it's Clinton because it definitely wasn't Alex, according to Alex. So they get to this meeting, and right away, it's a mechanism for people to collude to stop people from working. And
He said that, but he said that's what the MOU is about. Like, literally, that's what the MOU is for. That MOU was just for that.
Yeah.
Very, very simple.
It's just, I mean, and again, I personally like, Alex, but he mentioned something, and it was like, he said, if we're not inside, I can't make a change. He's like, I do get to see the MOU. I do get to have conversations. I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, yeah, but they're not listening to you. Alex is the person of AAU. He's an AAU person. He knows the culture. He knows the organization, and he's the one they're not listening to. Clinton doesn't, and Mirza doesn't. Not Taekwondo specifically. He knows AAU, of course. He knows AAU. He's the president, but it's crazy. So, for me, I feel bad because they're gonna. I feel like he's the scapegoat. He's the one that has to come and bring bad news. He's the one that has to try to rationalize it, but he's also the one choosing to stay there. And I feel badly for that. But at the end of the day, this isn't about him. This is about you, TJ, and this is about me being suspended. This is about the organization, the two organizations colluding together to block you. And that's unacceptable.
Not just me. The fact that it's bought and they go, oh, anyone associated with peak performance.
That's crazy.
That's it's just crazy.
But you know what? I've heard that whisper. I've heard people. TJ, we talked about you.
Oh, I know.
We talked about you going to coach somebody and some girl couldn't do it because of whatever. It's all the affiliation with Peak. I've heard it. But to hear the chair of an organization that went to a meeting and have it brought up, it couldn't be it was sweet words to my ears because I don't have to be like, yeah, I heard they said this. I have a lot of rumors that I've heard. They're just rumors. It's in Spanish we say chisme. It's not like gossip. But this to hear it from an acting president, if you will, of AAU Taekwondo,
But
blew my mind.
AAU Taekwondo, but yeah, but I know, and where we started with them simply just trying to make sure Ryan doesn't get a job. Like it's that's even like you're literally blocking people from doing the things they've been doing in the organizations.
I personally
because you have a difference.
I personally believe now hearing all this, that was the motive to go there for Mr. Mirza. Like he wanted to make sure that these guys didn't do it. And then all of a sudden USAT said, oh, let's play this chip now. And he said, fine. Like Mirza doesn't know you. You know, he doesn't know you. And to hear Clinton say, oh, or he thinks highly of you. And if we could bring up top, stuff like that, until USAT tells him no again. And then he tells Alex no. Like it just, again, there's a lot in here.
I stop a podcast 3 months later, I get suspended for something else. 3 months later, I'm no longer invited on trips. 3 months later, they got, you know what I mean? Like they're silly if they think people play that kind of game.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing's 100% guaranteed ever for forever in anything. And you're gonna tell me stop the podcast and there's a glimmer of hope you can work with USAT.
Yeah.
My guy. Like what?
It's just
I don't know.
I thought it was interesting that there was, you know, in the super sensitive world of getting canceled and stuff, the super, and I even hesitate to mention it, right? The super gay thing, the comment by the chairman or whatever his name is at Taekwondo. And, you know, I don't know this guy. I think he met me when I was like running around doing my Olympic shake hands thing. And with that said, you know, I mean, I just thought that how are you the chairman of anything in this organization? And then you use that kind of language, which has gotten people, by the way, similar people in a different world, you know, canceled, thrown out of stuff. And now you're representing our world, right? And that language is just, and that presentation, besides all the other stuff he said, is just unacceptable. And how do you hold this particular guy accountable, right? I mean, I'm shocked. But then again, you know, I'm not shocked because I see some of the other organizations. You have a coach that slaps athletes. You have another, that same coach gives the middle finger on a Facebook post, and there's no consequence. So why wouldn't this guy feel?
It's actually laughed at. They think it's funny.
Oh yeah, well, you know, it is funny.
A double standard. What a double standard.
I guess it is. I guess it is funny. Yeah,
we're private citizens doing this podcast, and
you lose your private standing. I had a person that worked for me, and I liked her a lot, and I hired her because I liked her, and she was doing something, and then she said to me the following words: "That's my private time. I can do what I want." I said, "At the moment when you take a job with me, you don't have private time anymore. But you're a representative of me."
Maybe that's true, but true.
What's true?
What you just said. But we're
not.
No,
she don't have any private time. You don't. No. When you work for somebody or you represent an amateur sports organization,
we don't work. I'm just saying for us, we don't work for them. We don't work for them. You know, the head coach works for them, and if the head coach can, you know, be at a world class tournament on behalf of the organization and make some obscene gestures, and it's okay. This is my point. Like it's just the hypocrisy of it and the double standard.
But again, I keep repeating, you got the athlete's advocate online talking about his erection and how it's connected to Jesus and what it's taught, like blood in my erection. Like
don't even get me started.
This is the guy again. I repeat, this is the guy that's supposed to be protecting the kids, right?
I got a picture for the kids, right? I got a picture sent to me today that
he protects the kids as long as says anything about as long as they listen to his diatribe. I mean, it goes back to what I told you before. This is an organization of non-performers that don't care. You know, I mean, let's be clear. You can love or hate anybody in this organization. That I'm not telling you how to feel about them, but you know, what does religion or politics have to do with amateur sport? Nothing. And what should it have to do with amateur sport? I repeat, nothing. I don't ask you what your politics are. I don't care what your politics are. They're your politics. On the other side of it, don't tell me about your politics, because refer to rule number 1. That's not why we're here. We're here to be athletes. We're here to be better than we could have been if we hadn't been able to do Taekwondo. So anyway, I'm just shocked at that. Forget about, we haven't even gotten to talk about the other stuff, which is, what is he saying? Just to be clear, what is he saying?
Just to be clear, this MOU, this thing was written just to block people.
Just to block
Get
people.
it, man.
Just to block people. If he wouldn't have said that this was someone he wanted to work with, the MOU might not exist.
Yeah.
And
These are two organizations, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, I told him on the phone, I think AU's has tremendous ability to grow in things that can be done, and it was kind of like that. I switched over, started doing more AU stuff because it was a good place to go and a good place to bring the kids, and we did get more matches, and we did get a better experience, and it didn't feel like the deck had to be stacked against you. Maybe that's because it wasn't a chase for the Olympic Games or an official national team. Maybe that was a standard of it, but like that's why it is what it was, and now it's just the same. It's people sitting around deciding that they make all the rules, and what can advance them is what they'll do.
But listen, that's and Alex knows that too. He felt that too. Like he said, he goes, I don't think we should be working. I think he believes we should be, like I keep saying, rowing the boats in the same direction, but he doesn't think we should be working for them or taking cue for them or anything like that, because he saw and he knows all the potential within AU like you do. I think it's a little more pure, right? Because you're doing it because you really want to see growth and an ability to develop. And there's a lot of positive things there. And all of a sudden, real quick, it just got, according to this conversation, it got steered in a different direction. He says, I got outvoted. So it's clear where Clinton, is. Mr. Mirza seems to take the cues from Clinton. So here we go. Alex, with all the information, doesn't get listened to, unfortunately. And if he if he
Clinton
thinks
who?
he's gonna if he thinks he's
Clinton.
gonna if he thinks he's gonna be able to change something, he's in it right now and he's not being able to change anything. What's gonna happen in the future? It's gonna be more
Nothing,
and more
same
difficult.
thing. I hate that term when everyone's like, "Oh, you got to be on the inside to make
so
a
wrong.
change." You can't go stand next to the wrong people. That's why all these people telling me to call Steve, and he might be open to talking about me working there. You think I'm gonna go stand next to these? I know they're not good people. I know they're wrong. I know this is the type of stuff that's been going on. You want me just to sit back and be quiet and just kind of just take whatever they give me, right? And just be just as bad as them and just keep just jump in the boat and just be all good with it.
Yes,
Nah,
sir.
that's not how
Yes,
it
sir.
works.
Yes, sir.
And
No,
Yes, sir,
and you know
master.
what?
possible.
You know what, TJ?
He must have watched
he
Django.
mentioned that he's got to take care of himself and his family, and he's 34 years old. I get it. But so do you, and so do I. At the end of the day, if it's fair for him to take care of himself, then it's fair for you and me to take care of ourselves. So, you could say you care about us, you could say you like us, you could say whatever, but not enough to say I'm jumping off ship. TJ, I would be willing to bet a lot if they came to you and said right now, TJ, we want to pay you X amount of dollars to be a national team coach. You would say no, because I don't believe in
Impossible.
X, Y, and Z. It's impossible. It's impossible. There's no number that they could throw out until it gets all cleaned up. And then they say, you know what? We'd like you to help it rebuild or whatever. Maybe then. But while they're there, absolutely not. You couldn't pay me.
Because
You couldn't pay me anything. Anything. Steve
and,
McNally can come right now to me and say, why not give you $1 million to go do this? I swear, I don't go.
and
Swear.
people forget I have had my personal interactions with them. This is not some made up fairy tale stuff. Like I told someone the other day, I got the best advice. I was told to try to figure out how to work with him. I put whatever you thought aside and try to help an organization grow. And that's what I tried to do. And I just got pushed to the side the whole time, over and over and over again. And there was always a reason. There was always a reason. So to say now I'm gonna put my dukes down and like just go along with the show, just to say I can be a part of the team, I can wear a USA shirt. I've stopped wearing USA. Only USA stuff I wear is Olympic stuff, because that's the one thing I can hold to be true. All the rest of that stuff, you'll never catch me wearing that. That symbol used to mean something to a nation, to a group of people that really thought that they were gonna go out and be the best in the world. Now, there's no way you catch me wearing a stop sign on my chest, because that's literally what it is, and this is what this has to do. It has to stop.
So today when I got home, you know, after hours of travel, and I had this guy sleeping on my shoulder and drooling on me, and you know, I'm trying to be my Buddhist best and let him go. And you know, I had to change my flight because it got delayed, and I'm on this last leg from New York to here after surviving the Portugal flight, and I hadn't booked my ticket, so I was in. My wife jokes because she doesn't think I know how to fly in the cheap seats, and she's right. So I'm sitting there and I'm doing all my patients, and when the guy finally kind of leans over on me, and after he's gotten up 3 times for no reason before the flight even starts, because he wants to throw a water bottle to his wife or his kids who are all stuck in middle flights because he was too stupid to book the flight in advance. I kind of look at the guy and I finally have had enough, and I don't want to yell or anything. So I just kind of nudge him over into his seat because, you know, I want to enjoy my 7-hour flight too, right? And I realized that usually my tact is to be very public about it and speak it out loud, and I don't necessarily always need to, but you need to keep people in their place. And with this said, what you find yourself is in a conundrum, and it's Game of Thrones, you know, dragon, whatever. At the end of the day, are you going to bend the knee? And if you're not going to bend the knee, then you can see what can happen to you. I've been proud to say that in my entire life, and I will tell you this just privately. I have had envelopes put in my pocket with money that I've returned. I've had people take me into a room and cause. I was in a bathroom with John Holloway. Afterwards, I told him about him. We went to find the guy who intimated to me, a Korean guy, a young Korean guy from Washington, who thought he was a tough guy, and then didn't realize that he had met a really tough guy. And then I've been in other rooms where I've been offered jobs by an Olympic committee president, 3 jobs. I won't mention his names, to try to get me to acquiesce. And by the way, that list only goes on. I'm just telling you the small list. Throughout my entire life, I haven't taken the envelopes. I haven't bent a knee, and I definitely haven't bent over a table. Now, that may explain to some of you why you don't see me in the place where I bent a knee, a particular CEO that I'm looking at now, or a CEO. I haven't bent over a table and take those same 2 people and put them into that place. But I do have one thing that they don't have. I have character, peace of mind, and the respect of my son and my wife and my daughter and my family, because they know that's not my nature. In this little small piss hole of a city that I live in, I had local residents with the mentality of gnats try to get me to bend the knee because they didn't like the fact that I didn't put them on a committee or that. And they lied about me and they did all this stuff. I was mayor, city council member. And when they asked me to bend over the table, I said, good luck. And I still didn't. And they said, oh, it'll ruin this, it'll ruin that, it'll affect your business, it'll affect your life. And they lied. And I'm like, you know, I get to go through life being me, and you can live with your lies, or I get to be them. And so the good news is I get to be me. With that said, you know, all I can offer you as solace for the both of you is next week we'll get into the details of the AAU and all its malfeasance, its illegal action. And then hopefully they drag in the USAT so we can finally get a swipe at those 2 morons. But Steve McNally's interview, and yes, I mentioned him by name because I'm not that kind of coward. And I do have to say, when Steve does something good, I ask him. They have a policy where one of my coaches couldn't get in. I call him and I say, Steve, you missed a deadline. Can you help? So yes, Steve, thank you for helping me in that situation and doing what you should do for the better of the organization, or in particular, the better of my kids who wanted to compete. You did it, and I will always be appreciative, and I owe you that favor. On the other side, I owe you a second favor, to tell the truth, and Jay Warwick as well. So hopefully next week we can get into that particular interview, the PR piece, as I call it, the propaganda, the interview by the Seth Rogen of our generation, and talk about what we have.
Yeah, Yeah, don't you? I mean, I said at the beginning, hopefully this will connect the dots, and there was, again, I said there was a propaganda piece, saying that they didn't, weren't involved in anything, and apparently that's not true according to this conversation. So let's,
Well,
let's
there's
dive
no
into
doubt there's gonna be fallout. No, there's gonna be fallout. There's going to be fallout. And unfortunately, the fallout is going to fall two ways. Let me predict what's going to happen. Alex cannot say it wasn't him. It was him. TJ wasn't talking to himself, and it's not AI. The fallout will be this. Mirza will throw Alex under a bus along with Clinton O. So Clinton can get back to whatever he's doing, whatever it is he does in the real world. And then Alex can go back to making the piss money that he makes, $100,000 for a tournament, which, by the way, he takes from you guys. Hopefully none of you are transgender or gay, because you know how he feels about that. And now he'll find himself canceled or not canceled, which will speak volumes about the organization that we have in front of us. But for anyone to threaten a coach of an Olympic caliber, who do you think you are that you can threaten, cajole, or bully an Olympian? What clown show do you come from that you think an Olympian can be threatened, cajoled, or bullied? You ass clown. We can't be bullied. You haven't stepped up into the deepest arena, fought the deepest in our field. If you've never stood behind or in front of someone with a coach behind you that didn't know what he was doing, and then an athlete in front of you that was better or good or as good as you, and challenge yourself to win, then sit down, shut up, and learn from people that have. That's what I have to say to you. And by the way, yeah, I guess you know me because you took a picture with me. Well, I guess that means I know George Bush because I took a picture with him. Anyway, enough said. Yeah, both. And by the way, nicest, not my party of choice, but what a gentleman and his wife. And he took a picture with the back of my head and the front of my head because I had the Olympic rings shaved in them. And you know why I could have the Olympic rings shaved in them? Because I went to the Olympics. That's how you get the Olympic rings. So the only place that you might see an Olympic ring on any of the people that we've mentioned in here is tattooed on their butt, because that's the only place it should be.
We wrap this up. It's been a long one. I mean, it's a lot to digest. Like we said,
we got a lot.
We'll
get back to our other thing. With that said, we're going to have a live follow up to this. Now that you have the information, let me say it to protect my brothers. In the law of the United States, as long as you're party to a conversation, you have the right to record it. And in North Carolina, that's the fact. In California, it's the case. So the recording was not in Florida, but the recording was performed and taken in North Carolina. And the person that was a party to it was on the phone with it and has the right to disseminate that information. So good luck with that. Number two, the individual in the phone call was Alex Covert, who is the chairman of Taekwondo. Is that it? Is that what he's the chairman of?
AAU Taekwondo, yeah.
AAU Taekwondo. Number three, just so it's said, AAU hating on the NGBs. Oh, I'm not going to say anything about that, but that's like your little sister hating on you because you're smarter, bigger, and stronger. AAU wanted to be the NGB, then it should have been the NGB. Instead, it chose to be the redheaded step cousin of it, and good luck with that. This has been the Warehouse 15. Those are the disclaimers. And let me finish with, as you know, since I had a Cara super sour, if we've offended you, refriended you, unfriended you, done anything to you other than something you would want, sorry, not sorry. And we are out.
Hey, USA Taekwondo, how is it going? Did you win the TikTok contest? Might be time to put a shirt on and train.
Warehouse 15 rules. If your feelings get hurt, we are Alwat's right. So remember, sorry, not sorry. 6-7, baby.